YouTube, what up? We got our final play for week number 11 of the NFL season. We are riding with something we've never done before here. As the season gets more and more, as we get through the season more, I should say, I can show you guys some more advanced stuff that I haven't really been talking about publicly. So for this week, we are doing it's a 2-team 6-point teaser. Now, stay with me, guys, if this is brand new to you. Some of you guys are probably more advanced. You know what this is. If you're not, I'll explain it here in a second. So we're doing a 2-team 6-point teaser at minus 125 odds. Okay, so basically for every $100 you bet, you win $80 in profit if the bet wins. We are teasing, I should say, the Miami Dolphins down from -7 down to -1. And we are taking the Cincinnati Bengals from +1.5, and we are teasing them up to +7.5. So here's the deal. If you've never played teasers, pretty self-explanatory. There's different types of teasers, 6-point, 6.5. There might be higher ones. I don't mess with those. I'll just stick with the 6-point teasers. You want the lowest vig possible. So that's why we're laying only minus 125 as opposed to higher numbers. Okay? So basically, we're able to go 6 points, Dolphins from -7 down to -1, okay? And we're able to go Bengals +1.5 to +7.5. Now, we need them both to cover in order to win the teaser. If one of them doesn't cover, we lose the teaser. Pretty simple. So let's get into why we actually like this play. It's just a slight value thing for me. There's a lot of people blindly bet these teasers through key numbers. That's a big thing you look for. Like for example, we're teasing Dolphins down from a -7. The key number, if you can get it, is a 2.5, and we're getting better. We're getting a 1. Those are the key numbers you want to go to. Can you go through the 3 and through the 7? So if you can tease it down through the 3 when it's like a 7.5 or better, or if you can tease it up through the 7 when they're a 2.5-point dog, those are what's considered sharp edges. But here's the thing, guys. A lot of people do that, but it all comes down to you actually have to have really good ratings and accurate numbers for your own, your teams. Like, for example, this week, it's not a perfect example, but let's say the Browns this week were +1.5. I would say that's extremely risky to tease them up. But a lot of people would just be like, 1.5 goes through the 7, tease them up. I already told you guys in my earlier video, I think that line really should be Saints -6.5. I think that's a horrible line for that game. So with that data, I know that's a risky one, a risky team to tease this week. So I do that with all the possible teams that fit that criteria to be teased through key numbers. The only two that I thought were safe based on my numbers were the Dolphins and the Bengals. So for the Dolphins game, I had that game. The line is -7, Dolphins -120. I had that line closer to -9. That line I thought, and here's the thing, guys. Like, for example, if the line's -7, I think the line should be Dolphins -9, maybe a little higher. There's not a ton of value in me laying -7. Like, that sucks. Nobody wants to. That's not how you're really making money. So what we're gonna do is just tease that 7 down to -1. So now we have math in our favor. We have our own ratings behind it, so we know the number's probably solid and is probably a safe bet. Same with the Bengals game. That game, I think that game's pretty close to correct odds. The current line is Chargers -1.5. I think this line, if I made this line, it would probably, based on my numbers, it's probably going to be close to a Bengals -1 for me. So it's not much different, but I do think wrong team's probably favored here. I'd be fine with a pick'em too. Like, the numbers for this game were that close. I'm just giving the slightest of slightest edges to the Bengals. So I know that's a safe number. It's nothing tricky. Like, for example, if my line for that game was Chargers -5, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not teasing the Bengals down up from 1 to 7. I'd be looking to take the Chargers -1 or whatever. So in this scenario, I feel like it's a safe play. We're going to tease the Bengals up from 1.5 to 7.5, which meets our criteria of that key number. And here's the thing I like about both of these plays real quick. In the Bengals-Chargers game, the Bengals have been lighting it up. They're putting up points with anybody. The Chargers, they're very good defensively, but they have been winning by some decent margin, but it's not really sustainable against good offenses. Like, they've been playing horrible offenses. The Chargers are like a slow-paced team. Like, Chargers games, it's just, I really see this being like a slow, super close game. I don't see the Chargers just blowing out the Bengals. They're not really that kind of team. They're just kind of a slow ground and pound, grind you out. They're good with winning 17-10, 24-17. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, but I'm saying those are kind of the scores they like to win by. Really ugly games, perfect for a teaser going against them, getting 7.5 points with a high-powered offense in the Bengals coming off a mini bye week on Thursday Night Football. And then the Dolphins game. Yes, the Raiders are coming off a bye, but that's factored into our numbers. Look, the Raiders suck. I've been saying it all year. The Browns and the Raiders have been my must-fade teams all year. And this is another spot, man. I just think it's safe. Dolphins are a totally different team when Tua's playing than when Tyler Huntley or Tim Boyle or some other fucking loser's playing. Tua's a real quarterback. Gardner Minshew's horrible. I don't know how this guy still has a starting job in the NFL. Probably will be his last year with one of those. But, yeah, he's terrible. We bet the Bengals against the Raiders a couple weeks ago. And the Bengals just blew them out. I expect something not as bad to that extent. I thought the Bengals were a lot higher rated in that matchup compared to the Raiders. Plus, Raiders are coming off a bye. But I do still think it's a super safe bet at Dolphins -1. Like, I don't see the Dolphins losing this game. I don't think the Raiders have the firepower to keep up with Tua. I don't know which receivers are playing. I don't care about that. But as long as Tua's out there, I just see them putting up points at a rate that's going to be too much for the Raiders to keep up with. And the game is in Miami. I think Miami just, whether they win by 7, whether they win by 10, I think they are going to be a very safe bet to win this week. So that's our teaser, guys. Dolphins -1 with Bengals +7.5. 1 unit. Unit is 1% of your bankroll. Bet responsibly, guys, or don't bet at all. Never have to bet my plays. I'm just putting this out for the public to see. That's it for this week, boys. I'll catch you next week. Peace.